Yes, people. So now we are going to start with the one topic, that is the tax on virtual digital asset, that is VDA. Many people call it the cryptocurrency. This is the new topic, and this topic is introduced by Finance Act 2022. And this topic is applicable from this year only, that is previous year 20 to 23, or you can say that assessment year 23-24. Guys, till last year, there was no clarity on the income from the cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency means you heard about the Bitcoin. Bitcoin is very famous cryptocurrency. Bitcoin as well as the Ripple. You heard about the Dogecoin also. You heard about the USDC or USDT also. So there are basically cryptocurrencies. There are various type of the cryptocurrency. Now question is that, sir, what will be the tax rate on the income from cryptocurrency? So earlier there was no clarity. Miss, before Finance Act 2022, everyone is giving their different opinion. Many people says that it is a capital asset, so income shall be taxable under the head capital gain. And if there is a long term, then 20%, short term, then 30%, index benefit is available and all. So that was like one view of the people. Some people says that no, this income will be taxable under income from other sources only. Some people says it is taxable under the head business. So there was no clarity in the market. So what happened? Nirmala Sitharamanji introduced one section by Finance Act 2022, and there is a section number 115 BBH. And in this section, they clearly mention that if you are having any income on the transfer of virtual digital asset, then it is taxable at the rate 30%. So if there is any income on the virtual digital asset, that virtual digital asset, now what is the meaning of virtual digital asset? That I will explain you. But just understand that virtual digital asset means a cryptocurrency. So if there is any income on the transfer of the virtual digital asset, that is taxable at the rate 30%. Now question is that what is the meaning of income, sir, here? Because you are saying that income on transfer of VDA is taxable at the rate 30%. So here they mention that how to calculate the income. They are saying that any expenditure, allowances or set-off of any loss not allowed while calculating income on the transfer of the VDA. Except the cost of acquisition of VDA, means guys, against that calculation of income, any expenditure is not allowed. Any allowance is not allowed. Set-off of any loss is not allowed. Only one thing is allowed, that is cost of acquisition is allowed. Just reduce the cost of acquisition and remaining will be taxable at the rate 30%. Remaining is going to be taxable at the rate 30%. So I can take one example. Suppose for an example, I have purchased the Bitcoin. I have purchased the Bitcoin on the 19 July 2019, suppose. And that time I purchased for the 15 lakh rupees. 15 lakh rupees was my cost of acquisition of the Bitcoin. Now guys, what happened in the previous year 22-23, suppose I sold this Bitcoin, and at the time of sold, I sold for the 20 lakh rupees. So 20 lakh rupees is like my selling price of the Bitcoin. Now what happened? Suppose I have paid some transfer expenses. My transfer expenses was 50,000 rupees. So how to calculate the income here? Means which income will be taxable at the rate 30%? So here lawmaker says that just take the selling price of the 20 lakh, any expenditure not allowed. Any expenditure not allowed, this transfer expense is not allowed as deduction. Guys, here only one thing is allowed, that is the cost, and on this cost there will be not an indexation and all, because normally this income is going to be taxable under income from other sources. Normally this income is going to be taxable under income from other sources. So here your cost is 15 lakh rupees and this 5 lakh is going to be taxable at the rate 30%. And again guys, this 5 lakh, there is no basic exemption benefit. Basic exemption benefit is not available because any type of the special rates of income like winning is taxable at the rate 30%. Then against winning, basic exemption is not available. So again, this also basic exemption benefit and all is not available. So 5 lakh is going to be taxable at the rate 30%. 5 lakh is going to be taxable at the rate 30%. Now one more point. All people just focus here. Sir, you are saying that any loss is not allowed. Any loss is not, you cannot allow the loss. Now what is the meaning of that? First point is, suppose this is profit on sale of the Bitcoin, means I have sold the Bitcoin, there is a profit of 5 lakh. And guys, suppose I have sold one more cryptocurrency, name is a Dogecoin. So Dogecoin is also one VDA, virtual digital asset, Dogecoin. So suppose I sold one Dogecoin, and on Dogecoin my selling price was 7 lakh rupees, and suppose my cost was 15 lakh rupees. So on Dogecoin there was a 8 lakh rupees loss. Question is that can I set up this loss against this 5 lakh or not? Answer is no, I cannot set up. No, I cannot set up this 8 lakh rupees loss cannot be set up against this 5 lakh rupees, because here they have clearly denied that even crypto loss cannot be set up against crypto gain. Even crypto loss cannot be set up against crypto gains. So here any expenses, allowance or setup of any loss not allowed while calculating income of transfer from the VDA. So even crypto loss cannot be set up against the crypto gain. And one more point guys, against this income, suppose I am having this 5 lakh rupees income, and guys there is my house property loss of the 2 lakh. So can I set up my house property loss against crypto gain? Answer is no, that also I cannot do. My house property loss I cannot set up against the crypto gain. So point number 2 says that loss on the transfer of VDA, loss on transfer of VDA not allowed to be set up against any other income. Means loss on transfer of VDA is not allowed to set up against any other income, and also assessee cannot carry forward such losses. So obviously that losses is not allowed to be carried forward. And guys, one more point that is very interesting. What I say is that against this income you cannot set up any other losses. So here against this particular 5 lakh house property losses are not allowed to be set up, and all any loss is not allowed. Means crypto loss is not allowed, as well as any other losses that's also not allowed. One more point, and crypto losses cannot be carry forward. Crypto losses you cannot sort of again any other income, even like crypto income, and guys you cannot carry forward. Now question is that what is the meaning of the virtual digital asset? What is the meaning of the VDA? So guys, here virtual digital asset, what is the meaning of virtual digital asset? So virtual digital asset they have defined, they have given here 3 point, and 3 point says that virtual digital asset means any information. First point says that any information, either any information or any code or any number or any token, but not being the Indian currency and foreign currency. So they have excluded Indian currency and foreign currency. Indian currency and foreign currency is not a cryptocurrency. So crypto means, virtual digital asset means any information or code or number or token not being an Indian currency or foreign currency, generated through the cryptographic. Cryptographic is basically one technology, and this technology is known as the blockchain technology. You know that blockchain technology is based on the cryptographic. So cryptographic and blockchain technology both are same. So any information, any code, any number, any token not being the Indian or foreign currency, generated through cryptographic means or otherwise, and can be transferred, stored or traded electronically. So that can be transferred, that can be stored, that can be traded electronically. That is called your like virtual digital asset. So obviously definition, there is no need to remember definition, but if there is any information, any code, any number, any token other than Indian and foreign currency that is generated through the cryptographic means or otherwise can be transferred, stored or traded electronically, that is called your virtual digital asset. Next part is a non-fungible token, NFT. It is known as the NFT or any other token of the similar nature. So guys, if there is a non-fungible token NFT, that NFT is also treated as the VDA. I will call it VDA. So VDA include the non-fungible token, but question is that what is the meaning of non-fungible token? I can take one example. Non-fungible token means, for an example, suppose you know that there was one movie called Welcome movie, you know, Welcome, there was one Bollywood movie. In Welcome, there was a Majnu Bhai, and Majnu Bhai made one painting. So nowadays, guys, on any paintings or any type of the digital asset, how you can say that it is belongs to you? So guys, there is a one concept is called NFT. You can generate the NFT, and guys, that NFT can be transferable also. Means people will purchase that NFT. So whoever the owner of that NFT, that person will be known as the owner of that particular painting. Just this is one example. Suppose for an example, I have made one painting. Now question is that I am the owner of that asset, that painting, but how I will prove that I am the owner of that painting? So what I will do in the digital market for the digital asset, I will generate one NFT. I will make one NFT, and guys, this NFT is a transferable in the online. NFT is a transferable. Suppose if you like that painting and you want to be owner of that painting, what you will do? You will just purchase that NFT. You will just purchase that NFT. After that, some other person will also purchase that NFT. So that is called non-fungible token. You know that nowadays Twitter is in the like trending topic. Twitter, like Elon Musk, he purchased the Twitter and all. So guys, when he purchased the Twitter, you know that who was the first founder of the that founder of the Twitter name is a Twitter founder Jack something. There is a name is a Twitter founder first tweet NFT. He made like NFT. Yeah, so that person name is he is the name of the like person name is I think Twitter founder name is a Jack Dorsey. Jack Dorsey was the person. Now what happened, you know that he Jack Dorsey, he was the founder of the Twitter. Now guys, when he found the tweet, that time he made first tweet on the Twitter. And what was that first tweet? You know that this was the first tweet. Here it is not mentioned, but I will show you the first tweet. He did the first tweet, and guys, that first tweet NFT he has made. And after that, in the market, he sold that NFT, and he sold that NFT at very high value. That value is like, you know, that NFT of first tweet. NFT of first ever tweet. So I'm just showing you the news. Yeah, he sold that at $2.9 million. First ever tweet in the NFT format sold for $2.9 million in the March 2021. The most recent bid was $132. So guys, at 2.9 million, that one tweet was sold. Now, like this tweet was did by, this was the first tweet. Now you may ask, sir, what we will do with this particular tweet? But you know that in the world, there are some mad people. They want like they can do anything. So here, this was the first tweet that did by the Jack in 2006 when he started the Twitter. So when he started the Twitter, so he did the first tweet. So can I say that this is one digital asset he is having? Okay, oh, first tweet he made. Now Twitter is very famous. So first tweet who made that? Jack made the first tweet, and that just setting up my Twitter. That tweet made in the 2006. So he made this tweet in 2006. So can I say that this is this is the asset he is having? Oh, I did the first tweet on the Twitter. So this is one asset, and guys, this asset he has sold. He made the NFT and he sold that asset at the $2.9 million. One NFT, that is called NFT, non-fungible token. So if there is any digital asset, so for digital asset you can make the NFT and you can sell in the market. That is also known as the virtual digital asset, or I can say that the VDA. So VDA means first is any cryptocurrency information code number token, not Indian and foreign currency, and generated through the cryptographic mean or otherwise, and stored and transferred or like traded electronically. Second is the NFT, that is non-fungible token or any other token of similar nature. And third is any other digital asset as central government may be notified. So suppose our central government, we decide, our RBI says that in future we will also issue some virtual digital asset. So if any central government notified any asset as a virtual digital asset, then that asset will also be included as a VDA. Now they have mentioned that there is a point number 4. NFT shall not include the NFT whose transfer result in the transfer of ownership of underlying tangible asset. And the transfer of ownership of such underlying tangible asset is legally enforceable. So suppose they are saying that NFT will not include that NFT whose transfer result in the transfer of ownership of underlying tangible asset, and the transfer of ownership of such underlying tangible asset is legally enforceable. I can take one example. Suppose I am having my house property. So this is my house property, and this house property is located in Mumbai. Now guys, what I did, I just click one photo of this Mumbai property. A Mumbai property is my actual asset. Now, I just created one NFT of that photo, and I am saying that I want to sell this property. I created one NFT non-fungible token of this property. Just click the photo and I created one NFT. I want to sell that NFT, and through the NFT, this physical asset is going to be transferred. So suppose one person purchased this NFT for the 2 crore rupees, and he is going to purchase my underlying asset. Now he is going to purchase my underlying asset. So suppose whatever profit is, that will be treated as transfer of virtual digital asset. Answer is no. That will be treated as transfer of my Mumbai property. This will be treated as my transfer of Mumbai property. So here lawmaker says that suppose if you transfer any NFT, but that NFT, in result of that transfer of NFT, ownership of underlying tangible asset is transferred. Underlying tangible assets means my house property. And the transfer of ownership of such underlying tangible asset is legally enforceable. Then guys, it will not be treated as a VDA. Now next part. Following shall also not be treated as the VDA. Now there are certain exceptions. They mention that this asset will not be treated as the VDA. First is if there is any gift card or voucher, being the record that may be used for obtain the goods or services or a discount on the goods or services, it will not be treated as a VDA. So gift card or voucher. You know that there are Amazon gift card, there are Pantaloons gift card, there are Shopper Stop gift cards. So many times on the Diwali and all, we used to give to our employee and all that gift card. So suppose if you receive the gift card, so question is that Amazon is selling that gift card. Amazon is selling that gift card or voucher. So question is that it will be treated as virtual digital asset? Is their income will be taxable at the rate 30% and all? Answer is no. So they clearly mention that if there is any gift card or a voucher, that will not be treated as the virtual digital asset. One more point, mileage point or reward point. Mileage point or reward point or any loyalty card being the record given without direct monetary compensation under an award, reward, benefit, loyalty, incentive, rebate or promotion program that may be used or redeemed only to obtain the goods or services or a discount on goods or services. So that will also be not treated as a VDA. Mileage point, reward point, loyalty point. Now what is this? What is this? Mileage point, royalty point, reward point. I can take one example. I am having one credit card, and that credit card company is American Express. So I am having the MX credit card. Now guys, in the MX credit card, what happened? Whatever I spend now on 100 rupees, I am going to get the 5 reward point. So suppose for whatever amount I spent on the credit card, I used to get the reward point. And after accumulation of reward point, I can redeem that reward point in the by way of the money, or I can purchase any other goods or any other service and all. So question is that is this reward point or mileage point will also be treated as virtual digital asset? Answer is no. It will not be treated as the virtual digital asset. And last part is a subscription of the website or platform or application. Suppose if any person is having any subscription of any website, suppose you are having the subscription of the Netflix or any platform or any application, if you are selling that particular subscription, so it will be treated okay, you are selling the cryptocurrency? Answer is no, that is not treated as the VDA. So this is all about the section 115 BBH. 115 BBH is very simple. Okay, if there is any income on the transfer of the VDA, it will be taxable at the rate 30%. Any expenditure not allowed, set off of losses not allowed, except cost of acquisition is allowed. Except cost of acquisition is allowed. After that, if there is a loss, any other loss, that is not allowed to be set off against the VDA profit, and VDA losses is not allowed to be set off, as well as it cannot be carry forward. VDA means any information, any code, any number, any token other than Indian and foreign currency generated through the cryptographic means. It means generated through the blockchain technology. Second is a non-fungible token. Third is any other may be notified by the central government, but NFT will not include that type of NFT from which any underlying physical asset is transferred. That NFT is not a VDA. As well as the any gift card, voucher, mileage point, reward point, loyalty card and all, that is not treated as your VDA. You got my point or not? Yes. Now guys, we are going to start with the next part, that is related to the TDS on the VDA, transfer of the VDA. So TDS on the transfer of the VDA, there is a one section 194S, and this section is introduced by Finance Act 2022 only. But guys, this section is applicable from the 1st July 2022. This section is applicable from 1st July 2022. Means transfer of the VDA, that gain is taxable from 1st April 2022. But this TDS section is applicable from the 1st July 2022. This TDS section is applicable from the 1st July 2022. Now guys, this section is very simple section, but guys, there is CBDT some clarification on this section, and that clarification will take some like effort from you also, and some like understanding. It needs some understanding because examiner may cover this section for the 4 or 5 marks in the examination. So just try to understand. This section is applicable from 1st July. Now there may be one doubt in your mind, sir, why it is applicable from 1st July? Normally, when this section is applicable from 1st April, it should also be applicable from 1st April. Now, many time what happened, TDS section, they introduced from 1st July because before that they issue the CBDT guidelines and all. Because there may be some confusion related to section, like you know that we have discussed one section 194R that was related to perquisite or benefit due to business and profession more than 20,000, then TDS was applicable. So guys, that section 10% section TDS section was there, that we have discussed, you know, that social media influencer benefit is given and all. One more point we have discussed, like doctor related part. After that we have discussed about the chartered accountant did the audit, and like suppose expenditure is reimbursed and all, how it will be TDS and all. So that section was also applicable from 1st July. So why they take the time 3 more months? Because they wants to first see the reaction of the market, and after that they can like frame one scheme, frame one guidelines, and that guidelines will be applicable. That's why many TDS section will be applicable from the 1st July 2022. So this section is applicable from 1st July 2022. Now all people just focus here. Question is that, sir, this particular section is related to the TDS. All people pay attention. All people pay attention. Section number 194S. Now this TDS, that is TDS on transfer of VDA. TDS on transfer of VDA. Now guys, who will be the payer? Who will be the payee? What will be the rate? And what is the condition? Who will be the payer? Who will be the payee? What will be the rate? And what is the condition? So pay attention. Lawmaker says that payer means basically payer will pay the consideration. Payer means pay the consideration. It means, can I say that buyer will deduct the TDS? So payer means here buyer, and buyer can be any person. Buyer can be any person. If buyer is any person and payee means receiver, who will receive the payment? That is the seller. Seller should be the resident person. Seller should be the resident person. Seller should be the resident person. So buyer is any person, seller should be the resident person. Then guys, TDS rate is a 1% of consideration. Whatever the consideration, on that consideration 1% TDS should be applicable. And guys, here condition is that TDS is required to be deducted only if that consideration is more than 10,000. Consideration is more than 10,000, then only TDS is applicable. If consideration is up to or less than 10,000, then TDS is not applicable. So section 194S is very simple section. TDS on the transfer of VDA. Buyer is any person, seller is a resident person. 1% of consideration is a TDS rate, and TDS is applicable only if the consideration is more than 10,000. Then only TDS is applicable. Otherwise, TDS is not applicable. Now, guys, try to understand one very interesting part. Here, a lawmaker says that, okay, guys, suppose if this buyer means this payer is an individual and HUF. If payer is an individual HUF, payer is an individual and HUF, and guys, this payer not having any PGBP income, either payer is not having any PGBP, buyer is don't have any PGBP income. Buyer is suppose engaged in some employment, he is working somewhere, he is having salary income, house property, other head income, he don't have the PGBP income. Or suppose he is having PGBP income, but last year his turnover or gross receipt was not more than, gross receipt turnover was not more than 1 crore rupees, means turnover was up to 1 crore rupees and gross receipt was up to 50 lakh rupees, means BB survive. If payer is an individual HUF, either he is not having any business income or he is having business income, but last year turnover or gross receipt was not more than 1 crore 50 lakh. In this particular case, guys, here instead of this 10,000 limit, this limit will be the 50,000. Means if consideration is more than 50,000, then only TDS is applicable. Otherwise, TDS is not applicable. Means if payer buy the cryptocurrency or VDA from any person and buyer not having either business income or he is having business income, but last year turnover is not more than 1 crore, gross receipt not more than 50 lakh, then guys, instead of 10,000, 50,000 limit is applicable. Instead of 10,000, limit is 50,000 is applicable, 50,000 limit is applicable. One more point. In this particular case, this individual HUF is not required to take the 10 number also. That 10 number is not required. 10 number is not required. One more point, guys, he can file the TDS return by way of the PAN number. There is no 10 number. 10 number is not required by that buyer. One more point, guys, normally whatever TDS you have deducted, you have to deposit till 7th of the next month. But guys, in this particular case, if this is the individual and HUF, then that TDS has to be deposited to the income tax department within 30 days of the next month. Within 30 days of the next month, with the one form, that is form number 26QE. There is a one form called 26QE, and that form is a statement, or you can say that TDS return. Normally, you know that in TDS topic also we have discussed there were 3 sections. One was section 194 IA, IB and 194 M. In that 3 section, that individual HUF were not required to obtain the 10 number, and that person can file the return in the form number 26 QB, QC and QD, and here it is a QE. So here, if the payer, that buyer is an individual HUF not having the business, or having business plus last year turnover is not more than 1 crore 50 lakh, in that particular case this limit is 50,000, and guys, that person not required to obtain the 10 number, not required to obtain the 10 number, and he can file his return under form number 26 QE within 30 days from the end of the month in which TDS was deducted. You got my point or not? Yes. One more point, all people just focus here. Suppose there is a one person, name is Mr. BB, and suppose there is a one person, name is Mr. Ravi. One person, BB and Mr. Ravi. BB is buyer, and guys, Ravi is seller. So Ravi is selling some crypto, I am buying some crypto or VDA. Now what happened? BB is buyer and Ravi is seller. BB is buyer and Ravi is a seller. Now, suppose for an example, I am going to buy the cryptocurrency. I have purchased, suppose, Bitcoin, BTC, and I have purchased the BTC for 1 lakh rupees. So whenever I will pay the consideration, I will deduct the TDS at the rate 1%. On the 1 lakh rupees means BTC I have purchased, I have paid the consideration of 1 lakh. So on this 1 lakh, I will deduct the TDS at the rate 1%. But suppose for an example, sir, if consideration is not in money, then what will happen? Suppose for an example, today BTC rate is approx. If I want to show you the BTC rate now, what is the today's BTC rate? Bitcoin rate is there is a one exchange is a Wajirex. So I'm just showing you the Wajirex website. So Wajirex is one exchange. If just I show the BTC rate, so BTC rate today just now, BTC rate is 17,70,000, approx 17,70,000. I'm just taking the rate is 17 lakh. So what happened? Suppose for an example, I am a buyer, I am purchasing 1 BTC, but consideration I am not paying by way of the cash. Means consideration I paid by way of any other mean. Other means for an example, I have paid the consideration by way of the car. Car is a consideration. So question is that how I will deduct the TDS? I am a buyer, I purchase 1 BTC, but my consideration is by way of the car. I just given the car to Mr. Ravi. So question is that how I will deduct the TDS on car? How I will deduct the TDS 1% on car value, because car is a consideration. Suppose that car market value is, for an example, is 17 lakh. So 17 lakh on 17 lakh, there is a 1% TDS. So 17,000 should be the TDS that I should deduct and pay to the government. But here, how I will deduct the TDS on this 17 lakh rupees? It is not possible na, because consideration is not in money. Then what to do? Then here they have inserted one provision. They are saying that here first buyer will ensure that tax on that consideration is paid to government. Only after that he will release that particular consideration. Before that he will not release the consideration. It means what I will do, you know that 17 lakh is suppose consideration value of car. I will ask Ravi either pay me 17,000 rupees, either pay me 17,000 rupees money, so I will pay the TDS to the government. Or just do one thing, I will tell to Ravi that Ravi just deposit the 17,000 rupees to government and just show me the challan. Just deposit the 17,000 by way of the advance tax and just show me the challan. Just show me the challan so I can release this car to you. Before that, I cannot release the car to the Ravi. Hey guys, you know that this similar concept we have discussed in the TDS in the winning part. Okay, whenever your winning is in kind, then how you will deduct the TDS on winning? Obviously it is not possible. So what I will do, you know that here I will ask Ravi to just pay the 17,000 to the government, just pay the 17,000 to the government as an advance tax, then only I will release you the car. You got my point or not? Yes. So all people just focus here. What here law says that section 194S, and that section 194S is related to the TDS on winning. So what this section says, pay attention. TDS on winning. Not TDS on winning, TDS on payment of the VDA. TDS on payment of the VDA. Now pay attention. TDS on payment of VDA applicable from assessment year 1st July 2022. So from 1st July 2022 it is applicable. Nature of payment is a consideration for transfer of VDA. Payer is any person, means buyer is any person. Payee, that seller is any resident person. Limit consideration more than 10,000. Rate is 1% of consideration. Now guys, additional point. In case of payer being individual HUF, not having any income under the head PGBP, or having business and profession but last year turnover gross receipt does not exceed 1 crore in case of business and 50 lakh in case of profession, required to deduct TDS only if the consideration is more than 50,000 rupees. In this case, payer not required to obtain the 10 and section 206AB also not applied. So here guys, payer not required to obtain the 10 as well as the 206AB section is not applied. Now what is the 206AB section? You know that in TDS topic we have discussed one section. Suppose if that payee has not filed the return, then you have to deduct the TDS at the rate double the rate or 5%, whichever is higher. So that section is not applicable in case of this individual HUF, because he will not able to check that that buyer has filed the return or not. Buyer has filed the return or not. So this section is not applicable. Now next part says that if the consideration for transfer of VDA is wholly in kind or in exchange of the other VDA, means consideration is in the exchange of another VDA, or it is wholly in kind, then what will happen? And partly in kind and partly in cash, and the cash balance is not sufficient enough to meet the TDS liability, then payer shall release the consideration only after ensuring that the tax paid on such consideration. So here guys, payer will release that car only after that ensuring that tax on that particular consideration is already paid to government. If the provision of section 194O and 194S both apply, then TDS deducted under section 194S, not under section 194O. You know that 194O was related to that online. I have mentioned about in our TDS topic, I took the example of the Amazon, Flipkart, that is online. Whenever e-commerce operator pay to e-commerce participant, then e-commerce operator deduct the TDS at the rate 1%. So suppose there may be a case where transaction is covered under section 194O as well as this section 194S, then which section will be applicable? Obviously 194S will be applicable, 194O is not applicable at all. You got my point or not? Yes. After that guys, here individual HUF related, one more, there is a one point I have mentioned here. In section 194S, that is a specified person, individual HUF referred in point number 1, that not having business or last year turnover or gross receipt was up to 50 lakh, required to pay TDS within 30 days from the end of the month in which TDS deducted, along with the statement in the form number 26QE. There is a one form, that is 26QE, they have to fill, that is the TDS written. Now guys, I am going to teach you some interesting part, and this interesting part, try to understand. This is very interesting part. CBDT guidelines. So CBDT guidelines guys, here just I took one example of the Mr. BB and Mr. Ravi. That is the very normal example outside the exchange example. But is it possible that we can directly purchase and sell the crypto? It is very rare. Suppose you are holding the crypto, if I wish to purchase directly, it is very rare. Normally we purchase the crypto through the exchanges. Normally we purchase the crypto through the exchanges, that is called your crypto exchanges. In India, there are various crypto exchanges. Name is, you heard about the Vajirex. Vajirex, I will tell you, I will take the example of Vajirex only in this particular book, because in book also I just given the example in the name of Vajirex. As well as you heard about the coins with Kuber, something coin switch Kuber, I think coin switch Kuber. There is one more exchange, name is a JetPay. You heard about the JetPay. So JetPay is also one exchange. There is a one exchange, name is a Binance, that Binance, B-I-N-A-N-C. Binance is also one exchange. So normally what happens, people purchase and sell cryptos through the exchanges. Then question is that how that TDS liability will be arise? Who will deduct the TDS and all? Because we are not able to know that who is the seller, who is the buyer. Because suppose I am purchasing the crypto through the any exchange, then how I get to know that who is the seller and who is the buyer, when to deduct the TDS, and also obviously buyer is BB sir, but who is the seller? I don't know now. So there I am going to explain you one very interesting some CBDT issued the guidelines. So in that guidelines there are some interesting point, try to understand. So what is the exchange? So here I am going to take the example of the Vajirex. There is a one exchange or one website called as Vajirex. So suppose here Vajirex is one exchange. This is the Vajirex portal. Here it is a Vajirex portal. So Vajirex. This is the Vajirex is India's most trusted and Bitcoin cryptocurrency exchange. So this is one exchange is called Vajirex. On that Vajirex, just you have to open the account, just you have to sign up or login, and after that you can purchase and sell the crypto. So you can purchase the crypto, you can sell the crypto, just add the balance by Indian rupees. After that you can purchase and sell the crypto on the Vajirex. So Vajirex is one exchange. Here first point says that, first point, there is a CBDT clarification. First point says that, for an example guys, suppose I purchase one Bitcoin from the Mr. Ravi. Try to understand, because I will go bit slowly in this part, because you don't know about the Vajirex, you don't know about the cryptocurrency. So first, cryptocurrency itself is new for us, and this section itself is new. It is also new for you. So both are new. Crypto is also new and section is also new. So pay attention. Suppose for an example, I am purchasing the Bitcoin, one Bitcoin from the Ravi, and suppose I have purchased at 17 lakh rupees. I have purchased at 17 lakh rupees. And guys, suppose there is a GST also, and GST on 17 lakh is 2 lakh rupees is GST. Suppose there is a brokerage also, and brokerage is a 1 lakh rupees. So I paid the consideration of 20 lakh. Question is that TDS is applicable on only 17 lakh or including brokerage and GST? Right answer is CBDT clarify. Whenever you purchase, buyer purchase the crypto VDA, there is no need to deduct the TDS on the GST as well as the brokerage and all. There is no need to deduct the TDS on the GST and the brokerage and all. So here I have to deduct the TDS only on the 17 lakh rupees. On the GST and brokerage type of expenditure, TDS is not applicable. So that is the first clarification from the CBDT. So CBDT guidelines, first clarification, TDS applicable on consideration excluding GST and commission. So suppose if there is any commission, brokerage and GST, then TDS is not applicable on the GST and commission. Now next part. If payment is made using the payment gateway, then payment gateway not required to deduct TDS under section 194S. Now guys, payment gateway companies, you know that while I was teaching the section 194O also, that time also there was one clarification that suppose if you purchase anything from the Amazon, then Amazon, that it will be direct for the payment purpose, they directed to the CC Avenue. So question is that, is CC Avenue is required to deduct any TDS? Answer is no. CC Avenue not required to deduct any TDS. They are not required to deduct any TDS. So here this point says that suppose a payment gateway company is also required to deduct TDS under section 194S. Answer is no. It is not required to deduct TDS under section 194S. One more point. Sir, if section 194Q not applicable when TDS deducted under section 194S. Now what was the section 194Q? 194Q was related to if you purchase any goods of more than 50 lakh rupees from any particular seller, then in excess of 50 lakh rupees, whatever the amount, on that 0.1% TDS is applicable. So question is that, is TDS under section 194Q is applicable, means VDA is treated as goods or not? There was a one confusion. Okay, is VDA treated as goods or not? If 194Q is also applicable, 194S is also applicable, which section will prevail? So they are saying that 194Q is not applicable. 194Q is not applicable. Just ignore the VDA for the purpose of goods. It is not treated as goods. 194Q is not applicable. And obviously in 194Q, the TDS rate is only 0.1%. And here under section 194S, you know that TDS rate is 1%. So obviously this is the more TDS rate. So government will get the more TDS. Now next part. If transaction took place outside the exchange, then buyer required to deduct TDS of the seller. There is no issue. Because we have discussed one example, like in this particular example, pay attention, in this particular example, Mr. BB purchased the VDA from the Ravi. So here I am a buyer, so I will deduct the TDS of the Ravi. There is no issue at all. Now guys, we are going to start with some interesting part related to the exchanges. Okay, if you purchase the crypto through exchanges, then what will happen? So pay attention, here all people pay attention. Suppose there is a one person, name is Mr. BB. Mr. BB, and guys, there is a one exchange, name is a Vajirex. Vajirex is a exchange. Vajirex is a exchange, and there is a, so BB is buyer, Vajirex is exchange, and guys, seller is Mr. Ravi. Ravi is seller. Here what happened? Suppose I place one order on the Vajirex. When I place the order on Vajirex, and I have paid the consideration to Vajirex of the 20 lakh rupees. And guys, here I have purchased the crypto through the Vajirex, but seller is a, Ravi is a seller. But I am not aware about Ravi, na. I don't know Ravi because I am purchasing through the exchange, so I don't know about the Ravi. So what will happen, sir? Here who will deduct the TDS? Here buyer is a BB, seller is a Ravi, and Vajirex is a one exchange. So who will deduct the TDS? Is I will deduct the TDS of Vajirex while making the payment, or Vajirex will deduct the TDS to the of the Ravi while paying the consideration to Ravi, because Ravi is a seller. So here CBDT clarify that, okay guys, in this particular case, when crypto is owned by Ravi and buyer is a BB, Vajirex is just an exchange, they are providing the platform. Here BB is not required to deduct the TDS of the Vajirex. Means I will not deduct the TDS of the Vajirex. I will not deduct the TDS of the Vajirex. Here guys, only Vajirex will deduct the TDS of the Ravi. Means when Vajirex will pay the consideration to the Ravi, because Ravi is a seller, then here Vajirex will deduct the TDS at the rate 1%. So whatever consideration Vajirex will pay to the Ravi, on that consideration Vajirex will deduct the TDS and Vajirex will pay that TDS to the government. Vajirex will pay that TDS to the government. So what I am saying, that when any buyer and seller, they met on the exchanges, and here Mr. BB purchased the cryptocurrency through the Vajirex, but seller is a Ravi, then BB is not required to deduct the TDS. Here 194S is not applicable. Vajirex is required to deduct the TDS of the Ravi. So whenever Vajirex will pay the consideration to Ravi, they will deduct the TDS under section 194S. You got my point or not? Yes, that is the first point. Now guys, suppose that cryptocurrency is owned by the Vajirex only. Means Vajirex is the owner. There may be possibility that Vajirex is having the cryptocurrency. Vajirex is the owner of cryptocurrency. And guys, I am purchasing the cryptocurrency through the one platform. So that platform owns the cryptocurrency and I am purchasing through the exchange, and that cryptocurrency is owned by the Vajirex only. Then can I say that I am a buyer and Vajirex is a seller? So here BB should deduct the TDS under section 194S. Answer is yes. I am a buyer and Vajirex is a seller, so I should deduct the TDS of the Vajirex. Now one more point. Here CBDT clarify that alternatively here BB don't know na that crypto is owned by Vajirex or seller is some other person. That I am not aware about that. I am not aware about that. When I purchased the crypto through the Vajirex and I paid the consideration to Vajirex, but I don't know na that crypto is owned by Vajirex or any other person. That I don't know. That I don't know na that crypto is owned by Vajirex or any other person. That I don't know na. So here what will happen, here they are saying that okay, alternatively, if I am not deducting the TDS, then it's okay if there is an agreement between Vajirex and BB. And in India, all cryptocurrency exchanges, they have the arrangement, that arrangement. Okay, here TDS will be paid by Vajirex to the government. Means even I am a buyer from the Vajirex, I am a buyer of cryptocurrency, I pay the consideration, but on that consideration, TDS will be paid to the government by the exchanges. You got my point or not? You understood my point or not? Yes. So all people just focus here. That is on the next part. TDS applicability. When transaction took place through the exchanges, just I took one example of the Vajirex. Here this example says that Mr. Hari is a buyer. He buy the virtual digital asset through the Vajirex, and VDA owned by the Devam. Devam is the seller. In this case, Vajirex will deduct the TDS of Devam when paying or crediting the consideration. So Vajirex will deduct the TDS of the Devam. Now second part. Suppose Hari is a buyer, buy the VDA through the Vajirex, and VDA is owned by Vajirex only. In this case, Hari will deduct the TDS of the Vajirex, and if Vajirex entered into the agreement with the Hari that Vajirex will pay the TDS to government, then Hari not required to deduct the TDS. So in this particular case, Hari will not be required to deduct the TDS of the Vajirex. You got my point or not? Yes. Now guys, there is a one very interesting part, and you will say that, okay, yeah sir, what is happening here? Pay attention, huh? Pay attention, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. Suppose there are two persons, name is a Mr. BB and Mr. Ravi. Here I am taking one example of the Mr. BB, and there is a one person, name is Mr. Ravi. Now guys, suppose I am purchasing Bitcoin from Ravi. There is a one VDA, name is a Bitcoin. So suppose, for an example, I am purchasing Bitcoin from the Ravi, and guys, in consideration, I am giving him the another coin that is called Ripple, and both are the VDA. Ripple is one virtual digital asset. Virtual digital asset is a Ripple, and BTC is a Bitcoin. Bitcoin is also virtual digital asset. So guys, what happened here? One person, name is Mr. BB. I am purchasing the Bitcoin and I am selling the Ripple. Can I say that in this example, I am a buyer of Bitcoin and I am a seller of Ripple? So can I say that here I am a buyer as well as I am a seller, and here Ravi is a buyer as well as the seller of crypto? So in this particular case, both will deduct the TDS. Both will deduct the TDS. How? Here I am a buyer of BTC, and I am paying consideration for Ripple. So whatever Ripple consideration I pay, on that Ripple consideration, I have to deduct the TDS at the rate 1%. Now guys, from Ravi perspective, Ravi is a buyer of Ripple and he is paying consideration in the form of the Bitcoin. So he is a seller of the BTC, but he is a buyer, na. So whatever consideration he pay, on that consideration, he has to deduct the TDS. So in both cases, here Mr. BB is a buyer seller of crypto. They are also buyer seller of crypto. So here guys, they will release the consideration only after that other person paid the TDS to the government. So what I will say to the Ravi, okay, just Ravi pay the TDS to the government, just show me the challan. And he will say that BB just pay the TDS to the government and show me the challan. In that particular case, only we will release our consideration. We will release the consideration. So here on the next part, I have mentioned, all people just focus here. TDS applicability when consideration is any other VDA. So here, the buyer will release the consideration in kind after seller provide the proof of payment of such tax, that is challan detail, etc., etc. Where VDA is a Bitcoin is being exchanged with the another VDA, name is a Dogecoin. Both the person are buyer as well as the seller. One is buyer for the BTC and seller for the Dogecoin, and another is a buyer for the Dogecoin and seller for the BTC. Thus, both need to pay the tax with respect of transfer of VDA and show the evidence to other so that VDA can then be exchanged. If this transaction is took place through the stock exchange, then what will happen? That is the one very interesting part. Pay attention, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. Now just I am involved here one stock exchange, not a stock exchange, only exchange, that is the crypto exchange, you can say that. Suppose there is a one exchange, pay attention, name is a Vajirex. Vajirex is a exchange. Now guys, on Vajirex what happened? Vajirex is an exchange. There is a one person, name is Mr. BB, and there is a one person, name is Mr. Ravi. Suppose what happened? Try to understand. Here I am purchasing the Bitcoin BTC and I am selling the, suppose, Dogecoin on Vajirex. Means I am purchasing one crypto and consideration is another crypto. And guys, Ravi, here I am a buyer of BTC and seller of the Dogecoin. Here what Ravi is doing? Ravi is a seller of BTC. Ravi is a seller of BTC and buyer of the Dogecoin. Buyer of the Dogecoin. So in this case, sir, how exchange will deduct the TDS? How exchange will deduct the TDS? So here our government clarify, our CBDT clarify, if this is the case, when one person buying the crypto and consideration is other crypto, and other person obviously selling the crypto and consideration is other crypto, in that particular case, sir, how TDS will be deducted? So here guys, they are mentioning that Vajirex will deduct the TDS on the both the leg. Means on both cryptos, Vajirex will deduct the TDS. For an example, I am just putting one example here, pay attention. Suppose here I am buying the BTC and I have placed the order of the 10,000 BTC. Just I am taking the example. Suppose I have placed the order of the 10,000 BTC, 10,000 Bitcoin. What Vajirex will do, you know that? On that 10,000 Bitcoin, they will deduct the 1% of TDS. So they will deduct the TDS in the form of the Bitcoin only. In the form of the Bitcoin only. So that Bitcoin is a TDS. TDS will be in the form of the Bitcoin. So 10,000 BTC, suppose I have order. So from this 10,000 BTC, 1% comes to the 100. So 100 BTC, they will deduct as a TDS. That is 100 BTC. Vajirex will deduct as a TDS. And guys, 9,900 BTC, they will hand it over to BB. They will hand it over 9,900 BTC to the BB. Now guys, in the same way, here Ravi is buying the Dogecoin because Ravi sold the 10,000 BTC and he is buying the Dogecoin. And suppose he is buying the 50,000 Dogecoin. So here what they will do, you know that from 50,000, TDS amount is, I can say that 500 Dogecoin, that is 1%. So can I say that 49,500, this 49,500, they will credit to the account of the Ravi. So on the both leg, they will deduct the TDS on the respective cryptocurrency if this is the case. Means here I am purchasing the BTC. So 10,000 BTC I purchase, I will get only 9,900. 100 BTC will be with the Vajirex in the form of the TDS. Now other person, Mr. Ravi is buying the Dogecoin. He buy the 50,000 Dogecoin. Out of that, guys, 500 is a TDS amount. That TDS amount will be with the Vajirex. This is the exchange. Now guys, what Vajirex will do? Vajirex is having the TDS. Now guys, can I say that Vajirex is having the TDS? Now this TDS is in the form of the 100 BTC and 500 Dogecoin. That is the TDS with the Vajirex. Now how they will convert this TDS into the Indian rupees? So here CBDT issue the guidelines. CBDT says that this Vajirex will put the order in the market in night 12 AM, means exactly that 0.00 this time at 12 midnight. They will place the order and they will sold this 100 Bitcoin and 500 Dogecoin, and they will convert into the Indian rupees. And now this Indian rupees, this is treated as the TDS that they will pay to the government. That TDS they will pay to the government within the 7 days of the next month. So what they will do, they will do the at the end of the day, miss on in the midnight at 12 a.m. what they will do, you know, that they will sold that BTC and Dogecoin, because they retain the TDS from this both the transaction, they retain the TDS, they will sell in the open market, and whatever amount they will get, that is called your amount of TDS. That amount they will pay to the government. They will pay to the government within 7 days of the next month. You got my point or not? Yes. Now there is one more interesting point. Here they mention that, okay, example, in this particular example, this BTC was the primary cryptocurrency. Primary cryptocurrency means there are some cryptocurrency which can easily converted into the Indian rupees, like BTC, Bitcoin can easily converted into the Indian rupees. Now here in the CBDT circular, they mention that, okay, there are basically, they mention the 4 cryptocurrency as a primary cryptocurrency. Which 4 currency? One, they mention the BTC. One, they mention the USDT, and one they mention the USDC, and one more currency they mention as a primary cryptocurrency. That name is a Ethereum. Ethereum, you know that ETH. ETH. They mention that this 4 currency are basically primary cryptocurrency. Primary cryptocurrency means this currency can get directly converted into the Indian rupees very easily. If you are having Bitcoin, if you want to sell, convert into Indian rupees, it is very easy. USDT, USDC and Ethereum. There are 4 primary cryptocurrency that can easily be converted into the Indian rupees. But what happen if there is any other cryptocurrency? Suppose for an example, I can take an example. Okay, on this Vajirex, if you Vajirex exchange, if you check now, there are thousands of the currencies. There are, you know, that more than 100 of the currency. You don't know about the name also of this cryptocurrency. You know only the 2-3 name. One is the Dogecoin is the first. It is given mentioned as Dogecoin, you know. After the USDT I just mentioned, there is a one cryptocurrency name is a Shiba. There is a one TRX, one is the Gala, one is the Ethereum and Bitcoin. This Ethereum, Bitcoin, that is the primary. One is the Justme, one is the VRX, one is the MDX, one is the XRP, one is the BNB, that is Binance Wallet. BNB is a Binance. After that, there is a BTTC, there is a Matic, there is a YFII, there is a IOTX, there is a HOT, there is a SAND, there may be a BB cryptocurrency also. So there may be a various type of the cryptocurrency now, and there may be possibility that this cryptocurrency is directly not converted into the Indian rupees. Then what will happen? So for an example here, lawmaker says that, okay, suppose in this example I took the example of the BTC and Doge. For an example here, instead of the BTC and Doge, there are some other currency. Name is they are having the, suppose the TDS is in the form of the currency name is a HOT. HOT, 100 is HOT. So Vajirex is having 100 HOT. And there is a one more currency that 500 is suppose BBDT. BBDT. There is a one cryptocurrency we made BBDT. So 500 is BBDT and 100 is a HOT. Then what will happen? So here lawmaker says that, suppose for an example that Vajirex have that TDS amount in the cryptocurrency, and that crypto is not a primary cryptocurrency. Primary cryptocurrency is a BTC, as well as that I mentioned that one was the BTC, USDC, USDT, and one more that was Ethereum. They are the primary, but this is not a primary. Then what will happen? You know that first they have to place the order, means on a spot order, means when they receive this 100, suppose for an example BB order the HOT and here Ravi order the BBDT. So here guys, when they deduct that TDS in the cryptocurrency form, just on that time only they have to first convert it into the primary cryptocurrency. On that time only they have to convert into the primary cryptocurrency, means either in the Bitcoin. So what will happen, like that HOT or BBDT, they will convert into the like BTC, that is the Bitcoin. And guys, in the night 12 a.m. obviously their BTC will be converted into Indian rupees. So that one procedure they have given, so that I am going to explain you that part. So all people just focus here. All people just focus here. If this transaction took place through exchange, say Vajirex, Then alternatively, TDS can be deducted by Vajirex only in the following manner. So how Vajirex will deduct the TDS? When exchange with the crypto, means there is a crypto, then what will happen? Vajirex would be required to deduct TDS for the both leg of the transaction. On both leg, they will deduct the TDS. How? So point number B. At the time of transaction, the Vajirex will deduct the TDS on the pair being traded. That is example, in case of trade for the Monero with to Deso. So Monero and Deso, they are some cryptocurrency that you don't know. So I can say that this is the secondary cryptocurrency. Like I just took one example of the HOT, one example of the BBSER currency. So there is a secondary cryptocurrency. So in case of the trade for the Monero to Deso, suppose there is a one currency name is a Monero and this is converted into the Deso. So 1% of Monero and 1% of Deso will be deducted as TDS by the Vajirex, and the balance shall be transferred to the customer. The trail of transaction evidencing 1% of consideration for the every VDA to VDA trade shall maintain by the exchange, means exchange will maintain all the record that this like currency to this currency they have converted or transferred. Now the Vajirex shall immediately execute a market order for converting TDS 1% Monero 1% Deso in above example to one of the primary VDA. So what they will convert on that spot only. Vajirex shall immediately execute the market order immediately. So when they got the Monero and Deso, that time only they will execute one order and they will convert into the primary currency, that is the BTC or Ethereum or USDT or USDC, which can be easily converted into the INR. This step will ensure that the TDS in the form of non-primary VDA like Deso and Monero is converted to an equivalent of primary VDA which have a ready INR market. The timestamp of timing of order to be maintained to ensure such conversion of VDA withheld to be done on immediate basis by the Vajirex. If the taxes are withheld in the primary VDA, then obviously this step should be ignored. If that TDS is itself in the Bitcoin or USDC or USDT or Ethereum, then obviously there is no need to convert this. This step should be ignored. Now next part. All the TDS in the form of the primary VDA will be accumulated for the day and time will be the midnight, that 12 hours, like morning 12 hours to 23:59 hours. VDA accumulated by exchange shall be verified from the trail of the order of for VDA to VDA trade executed during the day, and the accumulation balance of primary VDA at midnight 12 hours will be converted into the INR based on the market rate existing at that time. And the Vajirex is required to place the market order at midnight 12 hours for the TDS in form of the primary VDA for the conversion to the INR. The sale market order shall be executed based on the open market buyer in the market. So in open market, they will sell the whatever the rate they will get on that rate they will convert into the Indian currency, and that will be your TDS amount. It is clarify that there would not be any further TDS for converting the tax withheld in kinds of the form of VDA into INR or from VDA to another VDA and then into INR. So suppose that they got the 1% of Monero and Deso. So suppose they are converting into the BTC. That time again is there will be a TDS? Answer is no. Or suppose BTC is like converting into Indian rupees. Then there will be TDS? Answer is no. That stock exchange is not required to deduct and all TDS at that time. And guys, here in this particular section, whatever the 10,000 rupees and 50,000 rupees we have discussed, that limit is for whole year, but TDS will be applicable only if the you have purchased the cryptocurrency after 1st July 2022. So whatever transaction took place before that, there was no TDS, but guys, this limit we will check for the year. So here TDS under this section is applicable only for transaction took place on or after 1st July 2022. But limit of 10,000 and 50,000 applicable for a financial year. That is KK Limited by crypto for the 8,000 on 15 June 2022 and 9,000 on 11 December 2022. So can I say that on this 8,000 TDS is not applicable because it purchased before 1st July 2022. But on that 9,000 applicable? Answer is yes. But sir, 10,000 limit, but 10,000 limit we will check for a year na, and 8,000 and 9,000, this limit is already crossed 10,000. It is a 17,000. So here TDS is applicable. In this case, TDS applicable on the consideration of rupees 9,000. So this is the completion of your topic, taxation of VDA, or I